Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I am an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make knittertaining videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. Today I have a little bit of something special for you. It is a kinda sorta unboxing and kinda sorta review of a brand new thing that kind of merges, I said the word kinda 3 times now, that merges two of my interests. One is knitting and the other is planners, or those awesome planning type things that you use. I have in the past used a Hobonichi, which they're gigantic, and I just didn't use it as much as I thought I would. It worked for a while, but I just got intimidated by all the empty pages. And when I saw that there was a new product coming out this year for 2020 called the Knitter's Planner, I was very excited, and I contacted them and they were kind enough to send me a review copy. So I'm not being compensated for this, except for they did send this to me to review. So just wanted to get that out there. It's really exciting because it is customizable. I will put a link to the website below, but I have some screenshots for you so you can see some of the choices you have to make, and I'll share those screenshots. But there are certain things that you can change to make it what you want it to be. So when you order it, you answer these questions, like you make these choices, and then they print it and send it to you, which is, I think, really cool because everybody has different things they like in a planner. So the first thing, this screenshot I have, is that there are 9 different covers to choose from. And I had a really hard time deciding because they're all really cool. I really like the black and white one with the, you can't really see it, I think, in this picture, but it's actually knitter's code. It's knit 1 purl 1. It's like lines of instruction. I like the blue one with the knit shapes on it, the suggestion, and there's just pretty ones, and I just couldn't. So I'll give you all a moment to imagine in your brain which one you think I would have selected, and then I'm gonna open it up. Okay, actually, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you an opportunity. I want you to comment on the video and guess which cover I got. Okay, I'm gonna give you like you could do it real fast right now. Just click on comment and write the comment right now and say, I think you got this one or that one or the other one. Okay, and then we'll see if you were right, because I'm gonna open it up. So here we go. See how slow I can open it up? So you're commenting, right? You're telling me which one you think I got. How many people think I got the pink flower ones or one of the gradient ones? I don't know. Okay. It's in blue bubbles. Here we go. You can probably already see which one I got. Oh, if you're still commenting, if you didn't glance at you said that time, but I think you can see. Man, I bet this is noisy in my mic. Well packaged, if you were wondering. It's not going to go bad anytime soon. It's all in bubble wrap. Let me see if there's... you didn't see it quite yet. Let's see if there's any kind of note or anything. Nope, that's it. Whee! I got the sheep. I couldn't stand it. They were so cute. Oh my gosh, look how cute they are. I could not stand it. They're like little balls of spotted knit woolly goodness and yarn and sheep with silly looks on their faces, and I couldn't stand it. So if you guessed right, good for you, gold star. You get a gold star on the internet today. So here it is. One thing straight off. Love the spiral binding. It's gonna lay flat. It's really, let's see what we got. So this is like that, here, it's that metal cover, plastic covered metal, no sharp points. Actually, no, it looks like it's the plastic all the way through. There's no metal, so there's no sharp points to get on you, and it's pretty sturdy. So that, let me go over, I have these screen grabs up so I can make sure. Now, there we go. The Knit More, Be Happy Planner. I think it's supposed to be the Knitter's Planner, Knit More, Be Happy, but I kind of like putting it in the middle. So the Knitter's Knit More, Be Happy Planner. So it has a section where it's let's get started and explains what's inside the planner. Now, this is the first time I'm seeing this. I have no idea. So here's what you can find inside your planner. Stitch blocks. Take a pick from collection of stitch blocks created by our contributors. Oh, so stitch pattern repeats. So there's like individual stitches. That is really cool. On the weekly calendar pages, you get to test drive each of these for yourself with access to the full stitch block patterns at Knitter's Planner. That's cool. Knitting patterns. So there's a pattern section. There's a project planning section, which I'll let you see. And references. There's stuck on... Oh, whoa, that's cool. It says, be sure to visit our growing community on social media by visiting us on Instagram. I'll put the link in the description below. The Knitter's Planner, they're on Facebook. And that is really cool. And so this is for 2020. And it says, register your planner and get more knitting tips. And you can get new organizational printables and things like that. That is really cool. And I will mention that one of the options when you're choosing your covers is you can choose not to have it not spiral bound, but for it to be like 3-hole punch. So it'll fit in, I guess, other planners if you have that. So let me see here. So you have a place to put your personal information and birthdays. This is local yarn shops. Family member sizes. This is totally a Knitter's Planner. You can write down, you know, how big Uncle George's shoe is, and you can make him some socks. And then there's a vision board, and this is cool. Yearly goal planning. And it says goal, you write your goal is, and then steps that you need to take to achieve the goal. And then this is excellent. So this is important dates and deadlines in each month. So that is, I mean, and especially for me, I'm going to have to write in like when there are calls for designs for like magazines and stuff and the deadlines, and I can write them in here and I can see it at a glance. Or like I have a pattern that I am working on for the Yarn Over truck. I have it from one of their sock clubs, not sock clubs, but one of their pattern clubs, and I need to get that done. So I need to write that like when it needs to be delivered. So that is excellent. You know, so for designers, it would be really good. Or if you have like something you need to get knit for somebody's event, or like a birthday or a actual birthday where you got to get something baby thing done, or graduation. So that would be great to write in here what you need to get done. And there's quotes. And then, okay, this is really cool. So one of the first things you have to choose. So first you got to choose your cover, and then you choose, and this I love, you have to choose whether you want a Monday or a Sunday start. What day you consider the first day of your week. And so I chose the Monday. We'll see if that was a good choice as I use it. I think of Saturday and Sunday like separate. So you can either start with Sunday and see, and look, this is so cool. It's got it's got Vogue Knitting Live in here. So it tells you when Vogue Knitting Live is. So that is an excellent thing you're not going to find on any other calendar. And then, so after you have the month set up, you have the week set up. And so this is the third thing you have to choose. You get to choose, and there's multiple choices of it. It's not just two. The weekly calendar design. You get to choose if you want the weekly stuff arranged vertically or horizontally, which is what I chose, or if it just has graph paper on it, so you can sketch in whatever you want, or if it has dot grid, which is particularly good for bullet journaling, as it says here. So this is, depending on how you're planning on using this planner, what's going to work for you. Are you going to use this planner to plan out daily tasks, or this is going to be your knitting planner and you're going to use it to make like drawings and doodles and just use it for like knit inspiration, or you looked at Ravelry and writing down, or love crafts or anything you write down, or Pinterest and you see a pattern you really like, writing down the name of that pattern, or you're on Instagram and you see something, you're like, ooh, I need to look for that pattern, or I saw this yarn and I'm going to write it down, the color and the dyer, whatever. So it depends on how you're going to use it. I am going to try to use this to plan my weekly activities and monthly. So it is, I got the horizontal. It has very, very faint lines that you can see, which I think is great. And then here is so there is, it's like a stitch dictionary. You've got a stitch there and a place to write weekly goals, which is cool. And so there's a knitting tip from Gay Gillespie. That is awesome. Gigi made it. And it's talking about stuff. And so let's see. So in the first week, we had the stitch. In the second week, we have a tip. In the third week, we have another stitch. Fourth week, we have a knitting tip. So it looks like it alternates weeks between getting a stitch, like a stitch dictionary, and then a tip from a designer or a knitting person. So that is really cool. Stephanie Palmer, this is really neat. And then it's got some beautiful, this is a gorgeous photograph. Look at that, an inspirational photograph. And it's across from, so you've got some graph paper. Even though I didn't select the graph paper option, if I do need to doodle, I've got that graph paper. So that's great. And that is great for designing for me. And this, ooh, that's awesome. So this is there are monthly separators, and it's a much stiffer paper, and it's got the shiny reinforcing thing on it. Can you see that? So that's good that it's got the stiffness in there, and so it keeps the whole thing a little bit more rigid. And we're going to go into February, and again, you've got the spread. You know that Stitches West begins, so that is great. So I'm going to flip through. It's the same kind of thing. We've got stitches, and we've got months, and then we've got grids, and then we got pretty pictures. Vogue Knitting Live begins in Seattle on March 13th. Good to know. Put it on your calendar. You don't have to, because it's already in there. Ooh, here's a tip from Karina Ferguson. Always keep track of where you are in your knitting project. You think you will remember, but you won't. That is a very good tip that everyone should think of, because really you get into be a hot mess. So let me see. Okay. It's hard for me to hold this, but because it's big, I really like it. There's a cow. Tax day. I never forget tax day, because that is my wedding anniversary. So that's not one of the things so it's got inspirational quotes and beautiful pictures and stitches to play with. And it's got all the way up to December. So, oh, wait a minute. Is that on all of them? I totally missed that. So on the monthly spread, you've got monthly goals, personal projects, and knitting projects. So that is really cool, because they acknowledge that maybe not all your projects are knitting. I started weaving. Then there's a patterns section. So patterns. We've got a cowl from Francois Denoy, a shawl from Megan Jones, a kerchief and mitts from Angela Tong, and a hat from Allison Green. So here, I'm not gonna show you the pattern pages, but I'm gonna show you the pictures. So you've got these patterns in it, all of which look awesome. I really like this retro kerchief. Look at that. And the mitts, that is nice. And the hat's awesome. These are really nice. And so then the patterns are in here. Oh, in that photo you couldn't see. So you've got this photo of that cowl. I want to show you a little bit more close up, this flat shot of the cowl. So it's got some, I don't know if it's stranded or mosaic. Let's see here. Knit, ends are seamed. It says float, so it looks like it might be stranded. Yeah, it's stranded, but that is super cool. It's a nice pattern. Oh, here is the shawl in a different color. Ooh, there's a big shot of the shawl. That is really nice. And it's got charts and written instructions. Very cool. And here is oh, ooh, I really like it. There is the kerchief and mitts. That is super fun. I like the colors because it is definitely retro, but they're just slightly different enough from the actual vintage focus colors to be modern. And then we've got the hat is got cables. So there's apparently 2 different cables in the hat. Okay. And so that's the whole pattern section. And it says find dozens of stitch blocks in the weekly calendar pages, which we have determined. And you can personalize your knitwear creation. That is cool. And then this is the section I was the most curious to see. This is like this is the knitting project planner. So and look, the spiral, you can do that. That is the best thing ever. Look, here we go. And I can look at this side and you can look at that side. So we've got the due date, the project, the recipient, which is going to be me most of the time. Then the yarn. Oh, and you check off. Did you choose your yarn? Have you figured out what needles and hook size you're going to use? What tools? So you check these off when you've figured out. Made a blocked gauge swatch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Block your gauge swatch. Ready for finishing. Block complete. Gifted. So it's got a whole series of checks. I don't know about that gifted part. I'm a selfish knitter, just so you know. I mean, it's fine if you like making things for other people, but it's also fine if you like making stuff for yourself. And this is interesting. Okay, so this is great. So then you have individual pages that are your project planners. So you've got a place for your project, date started, completed, if you have a deadline for it, who it's going to go to, what yarn and fiber you used, how much yarn you used, what needle or hook size you used, your gauge, you can write in what gauge you got, what the finish size was, what tools and notions. It says sketch or attach inspiration image here. So you could totally like print something out and cut it out and paste it in, or draw if you can do it. I can't draw. And then you can write notes to yourself about what you did. And then there's also, the posing page is more graph paper. So if you need to write more notes or if you want to draw things. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's room for 8 for you to like write out 8 like this. And I bet you could probably Xerox this and stick some more in here. If you're going to do more. Ooh, you have a needle and hook inventory page. All very useful thing. Ooh, this I didn't expect. A yarn stash organizer. So you can write like what kind of yarn you have in your stash. So I could totally see carrying this around in a project bag and taking it to the yarn store when you're shopping. And so you know, like special, like if you, now, I don't know about you. I got way more stash than that. This is how much you have room. But if you have like, especially if you're trying to do like one of those stash down things, if you have particular yarn in your stash that you're wanting to work with in the coming year in 2020, what you can do is write them down in here so that when you go to the yarn store, you can look at this and you can come up with, you know, this is what you want to do. So that I think is how I would use this section, because I got way more yarn in my stash than these 2 pages can hold. And then here's the reference section. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3 different cast-ons, a couple different bind-offs, some basic decreases and increases, seaming, Kitchener stitch, mattress stitch, And so I'm going to just show you real quick. So, and they have illustrations that are really well done. So that's great. It's got make one left and make one right, which a lot of people forget that. It took me a long time to get it, so it's great. And Kitchener, I always got to look up Kitchener. And then we've got a list of common knitting abbreviations. And this also very, very useful. Because you've got the categories of yarns, recommended needle sizes, very cool. And then, oh, this is really cool. This is all of the stitches in the front part. So you can just look through and see if they're one of these you want to use. Ooh, there's one by Zandy. That's really cool. And Tabitha, oh, wow. Corina Ferguson. This is like kind of a who's who of knitters. That is really awesome. And then it has instructions on how to customize your stitch blocks. So it's almost like a tiny, and oh wow, it tells you how to figure out row gauge and stitch gauge. This is really useful. I know I sound a little surprised, but there are things in here I didn't expect, like this. And tips, very cool. There's a lot in here I wasn't expecting. There's a whole section on color theory, which if you're doing color work, or even, you know what, even if you're not doing color work, if you're just trying to work with stuff, that is a really good thing to have. We've got a couple more things of graph paper and some extra things. Oh, there we go. Add a page clip in. So you can get these add a pages when you need to put in more project pages like I was talking about. So that is really cool. Adding printed pattern. Oh, our clip-ins are great for adding printed patterns, photos, sticker sheets, plastic pencil, additional project planning pages, I called it, coloring pages, stamps, and more. And you just peel and stick. They're specifically designed to work with her planner, these planners, and may not work in other brands. But it didn't even occur, but adding a printed pattern, like when you print out a pattern and you could stick this on it so the patterns are actually in here, that is a fantastic idea. So cool. And then we have, I'm going to let you guys look at this. These are the credits. These are the lovely individuals who are responsible for this amazing planner. Oh, and the back page has a pocket. I love pockets. I love me some pockets. Oh, and that actually isn't the back page. So we've got this pocket page, and then we've got the back page that has the sheepies on it. So there we go. Isn't it cool? So I hope that I tried to do a thorough walkthrough of what you could expect to get the knitting planner. It starts January 2020. So you need to get on the stick and order it if you want a planner, a knitting planner for the new year. I will put a link in the description below. It's not like an affiliate link or anything. It's just a link. You go. I don't know if they're going to even be able to tell if I sent you, but if you like the idea of a knitting planner with all this great stuff, and I'm going to try to actually use it to be a little bit more organized this coming year. Last year was a little slapdash. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, click that like button. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much.